Hello, artists. So today we're going to be doing an exercise where we are trying to notice different values a little better, okay? So basically what we're doing here, what this ultimately is, are three triangles that I traced using my triangle template. And then I colored in each area a value of either a number 1 being the lightest, number 2 being my medium value, or number 3 being my darkest value. Okay, so when I trace my triangles, any section where it's only one triangle, I'll put a 1. If there's any section where 2 of the triangles are overlapping, but not 3, 2 of them, like this section and this section, just 2 of them overlapped, those will be my number 2s. And then any section where all 3 of the triangles overlap will be my section number 3. Okay, so it'll end up looking something like this. So let's go ahead and do one of these together, okay? So first off, to make your template, you want it to be, if possible, drawn on a heavier kind of paper, like maybe an index card, some kind of really thin cardboard would do, anything like that would be fine, okay? But you are drawing a triangle, and it's going to be best if you can use a ruler to make your triangle. And any shaped triangle is fine, doesn't really matter. It seems to be easier if you make it a little maybe longer on one side, but as long as it's a triangle, that's fine. So I'm going to be tracing this 3 times. So I'm going to go ahead and trace it one side, and I kind of like to turn my paper as I go and hold my tracer down. I think that way it's a little easier, and I'm going slow so I don't accidentally mess up my triangle. Okay, there's one triangle, and I'm going to need 2 more, so maybe I'll put one over here. I'm just kind of choosing random areas. I'm not going to put it right in the middle yet. I'm kind of saving that spot maybe for my 3rd one. One side. And you don't have to turn your paper. I just think it's easier that way, because that way I don't have to cross over and try to draw the line on the other side. I'm right-handed, so I can come from the right side. If you're left-handed, you could do it maybe in the reverse. Okay, that's my 2nd one. And then I need 1 more, and I could flip it over too if I wanted, right? Don't have to go the same direction. And so let's see, I'm going to put it right in the middle this time. So I'm going to go, oops, 1. And if you want to have somebody hold your tracer in place, you could. That can help. And it might move out of the way when you're tracing it. That can happen with tracers. And then just line it back up again. Make sure it's in the right spot, and then continue. I would also, if your triangle isn't exactly quite right, like mine just wasn't, maybe fix up the corners just a little bit so it looks a little better. Okay, so I have my 3 triangles. The next thing I want to do is make my value scale with my 3 values. So basically, I'm just going to make a rectangle. Remember, we want it to look like this. So a rectangle, and then I'm drawing 2 vertical lines. And then I'm going to label them 1, 2, and 3. And number 1, I like to do number 1 first, because it's pretty easy to just fill it in super duper light. Okay, really light. And I like to go the other way too, but I'm keeping it really soft, right? This is my lightest value. Okay. I think it's easier to then go to number 3 and do the darkest one, and then I can figure out what would be between them. That's just the way that I like to do it. So I'm going to do okay, number 3, and then somewhere in between. And one way to figure that out pretty easily is to fill in number 2 like I did number 1 at first, and then I can just add another layer on top that makes it darker. So right now it kind of looks the same as my number 1. So I'm going to go over it one more time, but I don't want to make it as dark as my number 3. Right? I want a range of value. Okay, so that's pretty good. All right, so now what I got to do is figure out which sections are my number 1s, and those are going to be where none of the triangles are overlapping at all. So if I look at this triangle, first of all, what are the sections where that triangle is kind of by itself, where neither of the other 2 triangles have overlapped? Well, if I look at this triangle, I can tell that way over here, neither of these 2 triangles have overlapped. So I'm going to put a 1 here. And I can see that way up here, this little section, also neither of these 2 triangles overlapped, right? Here and here. What if I look at this triangle? What parts of that triangle have neither of the other 2 triangles overlapping? Well, probably here and up there, right? And then same with this last one. Where are the sections where neither of the other 2 overlapped? So here and up there. All right, so those are going to be my number 1s, okay? So I'd be shading in my number 1s with my lightest value, okay? Then my number 2 areas. Where are some places where 2 of them overlapped, but not 3, right? So let me look at this section here. So that looks like maybe this triangle and that triangle overlapped. You have to really think about it. And it does help to kind of trace around the other ones just to see, right? This little section is a number 2 because that one is not in that space, right? It really kind of plays with your eyes. I can tell that this section over here is also a number 2, right? Because this one is not part of it, but the other 2 are. This section right in the middle, though, that's going to be a 3, right? And I actually still have 2 little parts. This is a number 2, and this little one is a number 2, right? Because this triangle is not part of those 2. So this is simply labeled now. I'm not done yet. Now I need to fill in, shade in according to my values. Okay? And when I'm done, it's gonna look something like this one. Now you can trace your triangles however you want. It doesn't have to make a design exactly like mine. In fact, it shouldn't, okay? Have fun with which way you turn them, okay? But again, trace your triangles, make your value scale, number them, and then color in according to which value. If you feel like using 3 of them ends up being too simple, you can always add a bunch more. Look at that. That's pretty complicated. But actually, I just started with this one, and this one, those 3, just like the ones we just did. And then I added these other ones way out here. So it actually isn't as hard as it seems. I didn't add these 3 until the end. And I just kind of put them way out at the edges. Okay, so if you want to do one that's a little more interesting like this, go for it. But that's pretty much it, guys, okay? So have fun with it.